Alright guys, story time on this Wednesday evening on the way home. So I think it's my first drag racing story I've told on here. And of course all drag racing, it took place in Mexico. So if you know, you know. So this story goes back to the early 2000s. Kind of a long story, so I hope you hang in there for the end. I'll try to make it short and sweet, but there ain't no such thing. Anyway, so I used to have, in the early 2000s, I used to have a little 84 Mustang GT. Had a 460 big block Ford in it, automatic car. It was really kind of a turd. But for its time, it was fun, but it was not super fast, but it was fun. I don't remember, 820s or something like that, 8th mile, so it's slow. Anyway, but it was fun on the street. And old boy by the name of Genius, and if you was in any of the forums back in the early 2000s, and you know who Genius is. Old Genius called us up one night and said they was having a big street racing party not far from the house. We wanted to bring the big block car down there. I told him it probably wasn't worthy, but I'd love to go down there and watch anyway. So we jumped in this old raggedy ass old Mustang, and old Mustang didn't have a hood on it. It was black, had like steel wagon wheels on the front, and I don't remember what was on the back, but it had slicks on the back. I remember that. So anyway, we took it out there. This old boy's house. He had a nickname. Everybody had nicknames. His nickname was Quarter Pounder, and old Quarter Pounder, he was throwing his shindig, and we went out there, and he there's quite a few cars there. I remember 20, 30 cars, at least that, And, well, throughout the night, there was two cars that dominated the whole night. It was two friends, and they both had two early 2000s, well, then it was new, Camaro SSs. They were the catfish cars, and they were pewter gold. I'll never forget, they were pewter gold, beautiful cars. The dudes driving both of them, they were clean-cut guys, had the polo shirts and the khaki, pants, you know what I'm saying? Just, they kind of didn't fit in, to be honest with you out there, but it is what it is. And they were dominating all night. They was outrunning everything that pulled up beside them. So old Genius talks shit, especially when it comes to street racing. Old Genius come over there and told me that I need to street race these two Camaros. I told him, I was like, I've seen him run all night long. I can't compete with them, two cars. Old Genius, he said, oh, yes, you can. I said, well, hell, I ain't scared of nobody. Make it happen. So he went over there and talked his normal shit. And here come these two guys in their polos and khakis over there. And walked around my Mustang. And you get this sense that they was almost too good to race this car, which, they just fueled me. I was like, I ain't scared of nothing. So, old Genius kept on talking shit. So one of the boys in the Camaro said, well, if you run it, you got to run the slower Camaro first. I said, that's fine. So, old Quarter Pounder, he had this contraption for street racing. And it was like a drag racing tree, and it had a battery set on the bottom of it. It was a dolly, so he could wheel it out in the street, and had a little wire ran off of it with a switch, and it go from red to green. It was pretty, for its time, it's pretty awesome. He built it. It's pretty cool, and so he'd been using it all night long. And so I go out there to run this Camaro. And I'm thinking to myself, this dude's probably going to outrun me, but who cares? I was having fun. So we pull out there, old Quarter Pounder. He puts that Christmas tree, the drag tree, out in the road. And I do a burnout. Boy, the Camaro does a burnout. And he flicks the green light on, and I stomp that old GT. I never even seen the Camaro. As soon as I took off, he disappeared. And I clicked second, click drive, and I just drove out the back door. I turn around, come back, old Genius is over there laughing his butt off. Old Genius said I put like half track on his Camaro. I was like, I didn't think I did. I was like, whatever. He's like, oh, you did. Well, the dude in the other Camaro, apparently the faster one, Now he kind of got in his feelings and he wants to run me. I'm like, all right, let's go. So give a little backstory to this big block Mustang. Once you started it, got it going, and got it hot, if you cut it off, you couldn't start it back until it completely cooled off. Those starter headers are touching the starter. It just, like I said, it was a piece, man. And once you cut it off, you didn't start it back for hours and hours. So I could not cut this Mustang off. And the old boy in the second Camaro, he pulled out there, done a big John Force burnout. I done a burnout, pull up there, a quarter pounder, he flips that switch. I take off, I never see the Camaro. I click second, click drive, never did see him. Just ran out of his life. So I come back down there, and I'm pulling back in the parking lot, and there's a lot of people here, okay? And a lot of people. I would gather to say 100 people plus. And so I pull back in there. Well, Genius comes over there and says, Quarter Pounder's friend wants to run you. And he said that, and they were all diehard Chevrolet guys, he said, ain't no Ford gonna rule the night. And I remember thinking, well, I can't cut my car off, so I hope he hurries up. So, Quarter Pounder's friend, I'm not gonna say his name, Quarter Pounder's friend had a very, very nice Nova, and very, very well known, or very respected Nova, still is to this day. And so this Nova was way out of my league, but of course I'm not going to turn down the race. So I was like, all right, let's do it, you know. So I can't cut my car off, so I go up there, and I'm waiting for this Nova. And I'll probably wait. I sit there idle with that car for 15 minutes. Just sit there idling. Temp gauge is about pegged. It's like hot. And I want to cut it off, but I know if I cut it off, I'll never get it started back. So, here he comes. Finally, come up with that Nova. This Nova was ruthless. And everybody knew that I was about to get humiliated. So somebody made a comment that this Nova did not have third gear, and I remember thinking, well, hell, I don't want to run him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want an excuse. And there were several people there that said he don't need third gear to outrun you, and they were probably right. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So he finally gets out there. I feel like 20 minutes had passed by easily before this Nova pulls out there. And this Nova is a show car, and it is fast. So he pulls out there. We finally, the old temp gauge on my Mustang is pegged. I mean, I'm not cutting it off, and I ain't bitching out. So it is what it is. So we pull up our old Quarter Pounder. He turns that light on. He flips that green light on. I take off. Nova disappears. I'm in shock. I grab second gear. I hear him coming. I was like, man, he's driving around me. I mean, like, he's coming up beside me. I click drive in that Mustang, and we are door handle to door handle. Well, nobody really expected it to be a race, so nobody's at the finish line. Nobody. And so we blowing down through there. I don't know how far we went. I finally lifted, and we turned around, went back. Everybody was just floored, you know, that it was even remotely a race. Old boy in the Nova, I gave him the win. I said, hey, good race, you know what I'm saying? And he made the comment, and like I said, I respected the guy. He made the comment that it was a really close race. Let's put it that way, you know? So I was like, hey, whatever. So we load up, we go home, we leave. It was a really great night. Fast forward about a year later, I am in a little store in the same town, and I see this guy out of the corner of my eye. He's kind of staring at me. And back then, you know, we was kind of rowdy, you know. So I see this guy in my peripheral vision over here kind of staring at me. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this dude? Like, man, I don't want to fight nobody today. And we was out in the country, and I'm paying for my drink and stuff, and I'm kind of watching my corner of my eye. And finally, he walks up on me, and he younger guy, he walks up on me. He goes, "Hey," he said, "You got a big block." He said, "You got a black Mustang with no hood?" It kind of caught me off guard, and I had done got rid of the car by then. And I said, "Yeah, I used to own one. Been gone for a minute, but yeah, I owned one at one time." He said, "I thought that was you." And I said, "Okay, who are you?" And he said, "You raced a guy in a Nova and 2 Camaros." He said, "Out here nearby." He said, "About a year ago." I said, Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we had a blast." He said that he was out there that night spectating, and he said he got drunk, really drunk. And he said that when I went to race that Nova, there was like 100 people there, and there was like 50, 60 people on this side of the road, 56 people on that side of the road. Just as far as you can see, there was people on the white line on both sides of the road. I remember it. And he said, when you ran that Nova, he said, I was standing on the side of the road, and when y'all took off, he said, everybody jumped off the white line. He said, but I was too drunk. I couldn't react fast enough. He said, and when you come by me, you ran over my feet. So my first reaction was like, oh shit. And I said, man, I am so sorry. He's like, no, man, that was awesome. He said, that was awesome. I'm thinking to myself, like, I ran over this dude's feet, and he was excited about it, but he was so drunk, he didn't feel it. But, man, what a night. What a night for the books, man. We used to have some, man, I could tell 1,000 stories like that in Mexico, man. Man, we had some good ones. So, if y'all know these stories, a lot of you guys was there right beside me a lot of those times. So if you got any stories, man, remind me of them, because I can't remember all of them. I kind of think of them as I'm driving down the road sometimes, and I'll make a note like, hey, this story. So if you got one, man, comment, like, share, and I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.